Whether it's about their own emotions and behaviors or those of their child, their spouse, relatives, what have you, everyone seems to want to know what's normal. My answer is usually twofold, and I start with an important clarification that when people ask, is this normal? They're really often asking, is this healthy? Or should I be concerned? And this distinction matters because normal and healthy are not always the same thing. So I begin with a disclaimer that what is considered normal falls on a spectrum and is heavily influenced by family, community, and broader cultural context. So what's considered normal also shifts dramatically across developmental stages. So what's concerning in a 30-year-old might be perfectly typical for an adolescent or maybe an older adult. As a human species, adaptation to our environment, our circumstances, our history, our life experiences is absolutely normal. So, of course, there are many lenses through which to understand behavior, but adaptation gives us a practical starting point. So, adaptation is how we survive and develop as individuals and as species. And we are designed to adapt. And most situations prompting this question reflect our natural adaptive responses. So now here's an important caveat. Not all adaptation is beneficial. Sometimes our adaptive responses create physical or emotional distress for ourselves and for others. And after repetition, these responses become habitual and they may no longer serve our well-being, yet they're incredibly difficult to change. So in psychology, we distinguish between adaptive responses and maladaptive responses. But here's another nuance that sometimes what appears abnormal or maladaptive is actually a healthy response to unhealthy circumstances. So our psychological reactions often make perfect sense given our context, even when they cause us distress. And it's worth noting that many experiences people worry about, anxiety, mood changes, relationship struggles, are actually quite common. Sometimes abnormal feelings are actually normal human responses to modern life's pressures. So this brings me to my follow-up questions. So I usually ask, how is this concern showing up in your life? How long has this been happening? Has it gotten worse over time? And how is it impacting your ability to function at work or home and socially? And importantly, is this interfering with things that matter to you, like relationships, your work, or activities that you used to enjoy? How much distress is it causing you? Both functional impairment and personal distress or suffering matter in determining whether something warrants professional attention, typically. So from there, the discussion can unfold into something more meaningful. Though I'm careful to note that real clinical assessment is far more complex than our conversation suggests. So proper evaluation involves detailed history taking, standardized assessments, ruling out medical causes, and considering multiple diagnostic possibilities that a brief chat at a party or after a talk simply cannot address. So the age-old psychological answer still kind of holds true that when someone asks, is this normal? The answer is, it depends on context. So it's important to note that this is general information only and should not replace professional consultation. Human psychology, as I think everyone knows, is incredibly complex, with individual presentations requiring a really comprehensive evaluation by trained clinicians who can properly assess the severity, duration, rule out alternate explanations. So if you're genuinely concerned, I want you to trust that instinct and consult with a licensed clinician in your area.